Hey, mighty men of God, Joe Martin here with Real Men Connect, where we help good men connect with godly men by connecting to successful husbands, great fathers, and strong leaders. Guys, I want to shoot this quick video for you because I want to share with you something that I think is very, very powerful if you allow it to get into your spirit, into your soul. Now, I'm a very big movie buff. I love movies. Not like most people watch movies. I actually watch movies to learn things. It does make me a lot of fun with a lot of my family members, but I always like to dissect movies. There was one particular movie that's made my top 10 list of favorite movies called American History X. It was shot back in 1998, so it was several years ago. But that movie made such an impact on my life that I still use and reference it even to this day. That's why I'm shooting this video. If you haven't seen American History X, go watch the movie. It is excellent. Very intense, though. I got to warn you that it's very graphic. It's very intense and very tough and very foul language. But if you can get past the language, there's a great message in that movie. Well, to kind of summarize it for you, it's a young man who grew up in California who was very connected to his family and to his school and to his community. And one of his favorite teachers was an African-American teacher. Oh, I forgot to tell you this guy who's played by Edward Norton. He's a white guy who befriends has a favorite teacher who's an African-American guy. But his father is murdered while he was still in high school. And because his father had kind of like racist views and what happened to his dad, it caused him to shift his heart towards hating and not trusting people of color. Well, to make a long story short, he ends up going just totally deep into the neo-Nazis, the Aryan Nation. He becomes a skinhead. And he ended up committing a crime that sent him to prison. And of course, when he got to prison, he realized that he wanted to be with his group, with the Aryan Nation, and he was not very thrilled by what he saw. And I won't give away the movie because I don't want to ruin it for you. But let me just tell you, something bad happens while he's in prison. And the person who comes to visit him is his favorite teacher, Dr. Sweeney. Oh, by the way, Dr. Sweeney, this African-American teacher, was played by Avery Brooks, a wonderful actor, underrated. But he goes to visit this kid in prison. Now, remember, he's now turned his heart against his teacher because he's very angry and very upset with what happened to his father, what's happening with races in America and how they're taking opportunities away from the white man and all this other stuff. So Avery Brooks, Dr. Sweeney, goes to visit him, Edward Norton, in the prison. And Edward Norton is in a very bad shape. He's been very beat up and everything. But he would not speak to Dr. Sweeney. So Dr. Sweeney starts talking to him. And this was a very, very powerful point in the movie that really just shook me up and why I'm shooting this video to share with you. Well, Dr. Sweeney is talking to him and he's told Edward Norton, he says, there was a moment in my life when I used to blame everything and everyone for all the pain and suffering and vile and despicable things that happened to me in my life. Things that I saw happen that I didn't think I deserved. He said, that happened to my people of color. He said, I used to blame everybody. I blamed white people. He said, I blamed society. He said, I even blamed God. He said, and I asked God all these questions, but I never got any answers. He said, because I was asking the wrong questions. And follow me on this, guys. He said, I was asking the wrong questions. He said, son, you have to ask the right questions. And this was worth the whole movie for me. He asked Edward Norton this question. He said, the question I need to ask you, because Edward Norton says, he finally spoke up. He says, what question? He says, has anything that you've done up to this point made your life better? Wow. Listen to the question he asked him. He says, has what you've done, anything you've done up to this point, the blame, the bitterness, the hatred, the excuses, the laziness, your pride, your ego, your rage, has anything you've done made your life better? Guys, it was a very, very emotional turning point in the movie because it just broke Edward Norton down. And guys, it hit me like a ton of bricks. The reason I'm shooting this video because you know where you are in your life. I want you to look at your relationships. Look at your relationship with your children, with your wife, with your girlfriend, with your coworkers, with your employees. I don't know what background you may have. Look at your spiritual life and your relationship with God. Look at your finances. Look at your business. And when you start thinking about blaming and pointing the fingers at everybody else, if it wasn't for this, if it wasn't for that, if only this would change, if only that would change, ask yourself, if nothing changed, all the things that you've done in your life up to this point, everything you've been doing, what you've been saying, what you've been thinking, who you've been blaming, ask yourself the same question Dr. Sweeney asked Edward Norton in that film. Has anything you've done, all this you've done, has it made your life better? What has it gotten you? Guys, we can't make excuses. See, our past may explain us, but it doesn't excuse our behavior. Guys, we have to take responsibility, because when we stand before a mighty and just God, no excuse will ever do. So before God asks you that question, ask yourself that question. Even if you have to ask it every day. Is what I'm doing, what has it gotten me? Has it made my life better? Guys, I hope this blesses you. And if it has, please share this video with someone else who could watch it and who it could benefit and bless as well. And remember, we're males by birth, guys, but we are men by choice. And you must intentionally make that choice every single day, because a male is a terrible thing to waste. Until next time, stay blessed. And as always, stay in his grip.